All right, welcome in to another Sip and Chat podcast. Tonight is a special night, or today, whenever you're seeing this. I'm running this one a little different. Why? Because usually, if you're new to me, I usually focus on health and wellness, but I just felt like doing something entertaining for myself and hopefully for you. Because I've been watching this show House of the Dragon. And I find it very intriguing because I was drawn into the Game of Thrones as well. And I felt like that needed a redemption. So, in my opinion, this show should be a good, form of redemption for the House of, well, not the House of Dragon, but the Game of Thrones. So, with that said, I just wanted to kind of like jump in, have some fun with this. So, if you are a serious fan, when I say serious, I mean you're one of those people that take things seriously. You get into fights and all that over which side is right and blah blah blah, and you care about. Okay, my opinion is the right opinion. Then this might not be for you because my vibe is like, hey, we're all entitled to our own opinions, and let's live and let each other live. And this is just entertainment. It's not to be taken seriously. So, with that said, if that's your vibe, you're here for the entertainment, you love the show, you enjoy it, come on in and vibe with me. If you are looking to connect to my content just for like entertainment, show reviews, and all that, then don't subscribe because that's not what I'm about. I'm about wealth and wellness. However, I just had to dig into this one because I'm really vibing with this show. So, welcome in, all my people that are live with me in the chat. How are you? Hi, Rudy. Hi, King. Hi, BDBGP. Big Daddy Gay Bear. Let me say that again. Man, the tongue twisters. Big Daddy Beard Gaming Podcast. Welcome in, my brother Leo Gang is in the house. So, how I'm gonna do this one? I'm gonna jump all over the place because I'm not like thinking about taking it in sequence. Like, okay, we're gonna talk about this first and then that. No, I'm gonna talk about the stuff that stood out to me the most. And of course, you can chime in. Actually, let me share the link in the chat. If anyone and my YouTube people, if you're a fan as well of this show and you want to come up and share your 2 cents, let me put the link in the chat for those of you that want to share. And I'm feeling fantastic, my brother. All right, so the link is in the chat. So let's get into this. First off, overall, the season was a good season, in my opinion. I like that they took their time to kind of build up to things and they're taking their time to tell the story. They're not rushing it the way they did in the Game of Thrones towards the last couple of seasons. That said, I did expect a little more. Am I the only one that expected a little more towards the end? Like the final episode, in my opinion, it was a good episode, but it didn't feel like a final episode. It didn't feel like a shebang of a finale. You know, like how the last season ended, it kind of like left you wanting for more, like you can't wait, you can't wait. I didn't feel that this season. Well, at the end of the season. However, I'm not disappointed. It's still a good show. I still really do enjoy the show. And I like that they're not rushing it. Again, take your time, yes. However, in my opinion, they should have either made this particular episode a little longer or maybe do one more episode to close out the season. Because, I mean, I don't know, but I had to ask myself this question. Do we really need violence to feel entertained? Did we really need to see a war to be like, okay, it was a shebang of a finale? Is that really necessary? I mean, some of us may say yes, some of us may say no, but I was questioning myself like, did I really need to see them go to war to feel like it was a great finale? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. What are your thoughts on that? I'm just curious. But I did feel like it could have used a little more something in there to make me feel like satisfied. Okay, fine. We see the setup for the wars and everything happen. The ships go in, the soldiers on the ground. We see all that. We even saw a dragon flying. I think that's I think that's the little brother of Aemon, I believe. They didn't really show the face closely, but I'm thinking that's what that dragon was. Anyway, we see the setup for the war, but I'm like, okay, at least, in the very least, if you're not going to give us like a war or the beginning of the war for this particular finale, at least let us see the little girl conquer that dragon or connect with that dragon, whatever you want to call it. But let us see her riding that dragon, like, okay, at least that. Am I wrong for wanting that at least? If you're not going to show us a big war in this finale, at least give us the girl finally connecting with the dragon and getting to ride on her dragon. She went through a lot to not get the dragon at the end of the season. I'm just saying, I would have loved to see that at least, because they didn't give us the war. There were some wars that went on earlier that they didn't really give us like the scene of it. They just show us the aftermath. Okay, fair enough, whatever. Violence doesn't necessarily make the show great, but it could be entertaining. I'm just saying, being honest here. So for that reason, I have to say that although it was a good finale, it didn't give me the shebang I was looking for. Something to say, all right, I can't wait for next season. I'm looking forward to next season, but I'm not thirsty for it. How do you guys feel about that? I'm just like really curious. Now, some of the scenes that I'm not wrong, huh? Some of the scenes that I remember that I like in particular. Oh my God. The scene with Damien when the messenger finally got to him and he was talking to him and he said, "Hey man, I need to speak to you privately." And he took him outside and he pretty much expressed that, hey, we don't really need her right now. We need a king, because he feels like a woman is not strong enough or good enough or whatever enough to make it happen, to win the war. So he's like, I will follow you. We need a king. And y'all know Damien is about, he gets down to his business when it comes to war. He doesn't play. So I was like, in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, what is Damien going to do? Is Damien going to get in there and like say, all right, this is what I needed? Because remember, when he saw all that he saw, we weren't sure yet what his conclusion was, because they just kind of left it like, you know what you need to do. You know your role. But we weren't sure, at least I wasn't sure. Does that mean he's going to still try to be this king? Or does that mean he's going to stand by his wife's side? Which is what I was hoping for. I was like, oh my gosh, please stand by her side, because I just feel like that's the way it should go. Not because she's a woman or whatever, just because of how things are lined up, and it just seems like the natural flow of things. I feel like she's the rightful heir. And, I'm just saying, she's the firstborn. It shouldn't matter whether you're male or female, in my opinion. However, I don't make the rules. Anyway, that said, in that moment, as they're having this conversation, I'm like, what is Damien going to do? Is he going to say, okay, yes, I'll be your king? Or is he going to like cut this man's neck off? I'm like, is he gonna cut his head off like he did to the Seaman? I'm like, oh my God, is he going to do that? Like, if he did that, I would not have been surprised. I would not have been surprised if he did. But I just loved and respected. He won my heart with that when he just declined. And he just decided, I'm going to stand by my queen. He just shook his head and he walked away. I'm like, oh, he didn't swing the sword. Hallelujah. All right, let me take a sip of my tea, because after all, this is Sip and Chat. Yeah, I agree. I felt like the same way. We needed more of a payoff for all the time we put into this season. I just felt like, okay, we need something, some kind of shebang to make us feel like, all right, there you go. I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be violence. Like I said, just seeing the little girl, get on that dragon, knowing that she can fly it now and own it. That would have been enough for me, at least that. But they didn't even give us that. I don't know why they chose not to give us that. All right, y'all. Let me take a quick commercial break here. I'll be right back. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. All right, and I'm back. Sorry about that whack music. Looks like I'm on a different channel tonight, so I wasn't able to get my not so whack music going. But anyway, at least I'm not going to get a ding from YouTube for that, so that's good. All right, so where was I? Guys, make sure you give a like and a share if you're into that show and you just kind of like the vibe. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I was reading what K Plus was saying that I felt like we should have gotten a little more out of this final episode. It wasn't a bad episode though, but it did not feel like a final episode. But again, I'm guessing I would have to trust that they know what they're doing and they're doing it for a reason. And I do like again that they're taking their time with it. So that's a big plus. And K Plus is saying he feels like they wasted too much time with the the triarchy stuff. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I don't disagree with that. I totally agree. Another one of my favorite parts, right, was when this this might be funny to some of you, but when that Lannister guy got his butt whooped. Oh my god. At first, when they cut to that scene, I didn't recognize who it was. And I'm like, oh my God, that's him getting his butt whooped. What I enjoyed is when they were like, after everything, they were having dinner and she looked at him and was like, you're a handsome man. And, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is she going to like make him go to bed with her? But then when she said, "Oh, you will make babies with my wives," I was like, "Oh my god, I totally did not see that coming. I did not see that coming." So I just thought that was like really funny. But it's just funny in a way that, oh my goodness, he was willing to do whatever it took to get that army. I'm like, there must be some bad bee people. Twin Broke Acres, welcome in. How are you, my brother? Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate your love. Okay, get your rest. I know you're working hard over there. Yeah, I agree. It was a good episode, but not a good finale. Yeah, and he's like, "How many wives do you have?" I'm like, he's just willing to do what it takes. Oh my goodness. That was interesting to me. Another part that I loved and that I enjoyed, I love that Rhaenyra, she didn't waste any time. As soon as she heard that Damon might be, conjuring up his own army to do his own whatever, she flew over there on a dragon. She took her new dragon rider with her, and she was out. I love that she just didn't even trust it to anybody. She went there herself to confront him. And I was like, about time they finally met. Because remember, we didn't see them together since like I think the second episode of the season. So it was kind of good to see them in the same scene together. And wanted to know, because at this point we still weren't really sure what Damien's mindset was, but it was good to see when he's like, oh man, I enjoyed that he saw the bigger picture and he understood it. Like, listen, man, this war is nothing compared to what's coming. And he's like, you're the person to unite everybody. So let's do the damn thing. And he bent a knee. To me, that was powerful. I love that. And I like that. That's going to give him peace now, because remember, he was fighting all season. Well, from not all season, but maybe from the second or the third episode, since he got to Harrenhal, he was just fighting these demons. Like, okay, do I want to bend the knee or do I want my own thing? He was fighting between his ego and what's the right thing to do or the honorable thing. So he had a lot going on. So I felt like this finally give him that peace where he needs to be focused and just, okay, we're a united front. So I think that's a really good power move for them. That's going to help them with this war. Now, another one of my favorite parts, and if you guys have favorites, feel free to share it in the chat. Let me see. I like that Helena started to play a bigger part in things. Yes. Yes, that was another one of my favorite part. That's the part I was getting to. I love that she stood up to that one eye. I'm going to say prince. The one-eyed prince. I love that she stood up to him. Because he's always trying to like push everybody around, push his power around, and tell people what to do. Like, he's really a very inconsiderate person. Like, look how he came to her. He just grabbed her and said, listen, you need to get on your dragon and start, fighting this war because we need you. And I'm like, excuse me? Allison pretty much had to like back him up out for his sister. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? She is the queen. That's not how you treat the queen. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm wondering about this whole power dynamics, because all this time in my mind, I kind of forgot she was a queen. I was still thinking of her as this little princess, because she's always so timid and shy and in her own way, very wise. But I was just like, okay, I forgot she was a queen. But then I'm like, in the dynamics of the power, he's the prince regent or whatever. So he's just like taking care of the throne. But isn't she the queen? Shouldn't she be the one making the decisions? But I guess in a time like this, maybe it's all about the male power. The queen is just a title, but you really have no say in stuff. I don't know. I'm just wondering, because when Viserys was ill, Allison was like making all the calls. So I guess this queen didn't step up that way, because she didn't, if we're being honest, she doesn't seem to care about ruling and being a queen. She did, in fact, say, I was happier when I was not queen. But at the same time, I'm wondering, like, how could you step to the queen like that and drag her pretty much to say, hey, man, you got to go to war. You got to get on your dragon and start. And she's like, nope, I'm not going to burn people. I'm not going to do it. I love how she stood up to him there. But what I really, really, really love was when she stood up to him when she was looking out the window just after Daemon had his vision that she was a part of. I felt like to me, that was a telepathic link of communication, because she was wearing the same outfit, I believe. I didn't quite confirm that yet. I got to look at it again and see, but I believe she was, in fact, wearing the same outfit that he saw her in his vision or telepathic link or whatever that was. But there's a connection there. So she's seeing the things that he saw as well. And she was speaking to him. So anyway, getting back to the point I'm making, I love that she told him, she pretty much said, listen, brother, it ain't going to end well for you. And I know what you did to my husband. I know what you did to your brother. I saw you. He couldn't even deny it. He could not deny it. You saw it on his face. He knew that she knew, and he couldn't say otherwise. Like, are you serious? That might be the first time I ever saw him back down from anybody. He wasn't ready for that because he expected, oh, my shy little sister who's soft, who's meek, who's powerless. She stepped up and she showed him who got some power. And I love that. Oh my gosh, Coach Sherry, if you're on episode 7, girl, you better get out of the chat. I don't want you to have spoilers. What's happening in episode 7 again? I can't remember. That's the episode before this one. What happened? What happened in episode 7? Oh my gosh. I'm so focused on this one. I wasn't even thinking about episode 7. I'm sorry. Please get out of the chat. Come back to this. Look at it after you watched it because I don't want to, I don't want to give spoilers to anybody because spoilers could ruin the whole experience for you. I don't want to do that. And I should have said that in the beginning. If you didn't see this episode, please don't look at this. Don't listen because I do not want to have any spoilers to anybody or ruin the show for them. All right, let me take a sip of my tea. All right, episode 7. Yeah, that was crazy, right? When they were trying to claim the dragons. My husband was telling me, he's like, yo, I saw something in Rhaenyra's in regards to that episode. She looked like she was enjoying seeing those people get burned. I'm like, really? I didn't see that, so I think I have to go back and like really see that. And I didn't even realize like the soldiers, they were stopping people from running out because I didn't notice that either. I was too focused on like, oh my God, these people are running helter skelter from this dragon. This dragon is just like really sorting people out and burning them to a crisp. Jeez, not even a crisp, to powder. So I didn't notice that. So I definitely want to go back and look at that because, every time you look at these shows, you'll realize there's always something that you miss. I don't care if you look at it 3 times, 4 times, there's always something that you miss. They're that in depth. And, sometimes you miss little things that may not matter, but in the long run, they might. So go back and look at some of these episodes. But somehow I knew who the dragon was going to pick. Like, I felt like it was obvious because those people, even though they're like side people on the show, they've been getting more close-ups than other people. Like for me, I take hints like, okay, people that you're seeing getting some close-ups and they're getting like extra camera time, they're not just extras. They're going to do something. Good night, Twin Brook. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you, my brother. They're going to do something. So I wasn't surprised. And plus, I kind of like them, especially the guy that had the child and the wife. He seemed like an honorable person. So I like that he actually went to their side. And yes, I'm giving it away which side I'm kind of leaning towards. Not that I don't like Allison. I know some people like don't like her, but I don't have no beef with her. I feel like she's one of those people that try to do the right thing. And she speaks from her heart. The dragon found the brother who was in. Yeah. I like that. I'm like, oh my God. It's funny how that dragon like ran after him, found him, and he was scared, but then he realized, wait a minute, this dragon must like me. I was like excited to see that. But my only thing is I kind of wish they kind of showed how they actually connected, kind of like when the dragon eyes kind of like blink and they're like in sync now, like that. Final confirmation, like, okay, now I can ride this dragon. I was looking forward to that, but I didn't see that. The next season, girl, is till 2026, 2 years from now. So you could go back to season 1 and binge, and then season 2 again and binge again, because it's going to be a minute before they bring out the next season. Yeah, watch the replay after, because I don't want to ruin it for you. Thanks for coming through, Coach Sherry. Love you, girl. So anyway, I'm thinking that the next season is going to open up maybe with some war because of how this one ended. Like all heads are like coming together now. Everything is coming to a head. So I feel like you're going to get a war at the beginning of the new season. But after that, I'm not sure what's going to happen, because here's my thing that I'm wondering about, right? Remember the vision that Damon had with seeing like the Night King and all that stuff? Now I'm wondering, if he's seen all these things now, does that mean they're going to have to face off with the Night King in this show? Because I know the Night King is like, a couple of hundred years away in Daenerys, their timeline when we have the Game of Thrones. But I'm wondering, are they going to maybe have an encounter with the Night King in this timeline? I'm just really curious about that. Like, why is he seeing that now? He even saw Daenerys with the new dragons being birthed. So I'm really, really curious as to where that's going to go. Because my husband, he read the book and he's saying, he think it's going to be maybe 3 or 4 seasons at most, and the story's going to end there. But now I'm wondering, they already changed a lot of stuff that's not in the book, which is not bad, because, it gives you more things to look forward to. It's more entertaining. Like, for instance, he didn't have that vision in the book, from what I understand. But I think maybe they put it in there so that they can maybe have an encounter with the Night King. However, because we saw Game of Thrones and the Night King was there, maybe they're not going to get to kill him, but he might make an appearance, maybe early signs of him. Or they might kill this Night King in this timeline, but there might be a new Night King birthed through him. Who knows? It can go in all kind of crazy directions. I mean, they're dealing with magic and imagination here. So there's a lot that they can do with the show. There's a lot of directions they can take it in. But I was hoping that it wouldn't just be 3 seasons or 4 seasons, because I like shows like this. It's really entertaining. It gets your mind off of the nonsense that's going on around you sometimes. So for me, it's like good entertainment, which is what's necessary sometimes. So K Plus saying, I enjoyed the season where it should ended with a shabang. Same here. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. On one of the shorts that I did on one of my other channels, someone commented and said, pretty much, don't watch it, it's a waste of time. But I don't necessarily agree with that. That's their opinion, but I don't agree with it. I'm like, it doesn't have to be violent to be entertaining. There was good enough conversations and things happening and chess pieces moving to keep us going, and to say, hey, enough is good enough. I can hang with this. It's fine. But again, to each his own. I'm just saying, just be mindful. If your mind is so geared towards violence just for the sake of violence, this might not be the show for you. And I know we had a lot of that stuff and drama and all that going on in Game of Thrones. Maybe this one is just slightly different. Enjoy the chess game. Open up your mind to something a little deeper than just violence. Sure, violence could be entertaining, but there's more to it. All right, y'all. I think that's all I wanted to cover. I usually do my healing and, stuff like that, but I just wanted to come on and do something fun for me because I enjoyed it, and I kind of wanted to share about how I felt and what I expected. I expected some violence, some kind of coming of heads, but none of that happened. I at least expected the little girl to drive on her dragon, but that didn't happen. But it's okay. It's not enough for me to say, okay, I totally hate this show or the show is whack now. No, it's still a really good show. It's still a really good show in my opinion. So don't give up on it if you're watching it and you feel like you didn't get enough out of the last episode. You're not alone. But it's okay. It leads up to probably a bigger and better season 3. More to look forward to probably in the very first episode. I'm just hoping that they don't like slow it down in the first episode. Like give it to us based on where you left off. Now you got to really bring it. We're looking forward to that. Bring it. How many dragons are possibly going to be fighting? We'll see. I mean, shoot, that episode with the dragon. Oh my gosh. I was kind of sad that my girl went out because if I'm being honest, she's one of my favorite people, or at least was one of my favorite people on the show. I just admire people that have honor within them. And she was one of those people for me. So I was kind of sad that she went out like that. Oh, guys, I forgot another part that to me was pivotal in this particular episode before I close it out was the fact that, oh my God, what's his name? Alan? He stood up to his dad. Was it Alan? K Plus, help me because I know you're a big fan of this show too. The other brother, I know Alan is the dragon rider and is the other one that's still working on the ship. I love how he stood up to his father and he shared his feeling because I always felt like he was one of those, like, okay, he has all these things bottled up inside of him, but he's not expressing how he feels. He's just walking around with this pain, with this torture, and he is not saying what he really wants to say. So I like that he just stood up in that moment. Oh, Alan is his name. Okay, I got it right. Okay. Listen, I'm one of those people that I watch shows, but I may not grasp everybody's name, but I know the character. Because I look more of like, okay, what are they doing? What is their mindset, their vibration? But I don't really focus on, okay, if you're not a main person, I may not remember your name. But either way, I love how he stood up and shared how he feel. Because in that relationship, if you guys notice, throughout the season, once we discovered and kind of understood, oh, this is who they are, he actually had children outside of his marriage. Okay, we see you. No judgment. But however, you could always see that there was like a little uneasiness between them, like unspoken words that, in my opinion, needed to be said. Because the dad, he wasn't saying anything. He was just going to keep acting like, okay, we're not related or whatever. Like, I'm trying to do this nice thing for you. I'm trying to help you and put you up, but without fully recognizing you, without fully having that real conversation that we need to have. And I noticed he started doing a little more for him after his wife passed away, which is understandable. But I thought at least he would have acknowledged him after she passed away, but he didn't even do that. So I commend Alan for standing up and finally speaking his truth. I'm like, yes, that needed to be said. So now going forward, I expect that their relationship may be a little better. We'll see. Time will tell. But I really admired him for that. I love that part of it. He needed to speak his truth because you see, when you speak your truth, there's a release there, there's a freedom. You don't have stuff put under the rug anymore. No feelings in the air that might be blocking your performance. Like, listen, you guys are about to go to war. So you need to say what you need to say, get the air clear so you can focus on what it is you need to be doing. Lucy, oh my goodness, how are you, beautiful soul? Welcome in. I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, oh my God, I got to go find your channel because I haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, I wonder how my Lucy is doing. Welcome in, my darling. Thank you so much for coming. I have to come over and pay you a visit, especially because I was thinking about you and wondering how you're doing. So happy to see you, my love. All right, so yeah, I think that was the final thing that stood out to me as one of my favorite parts of the episode. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss or dig into that I'm missing? And I did put the link in the chat for anyone that wants to come up and share their 2 cents on this season finale or on any of the episodes overall throughout the season. If not, we are going to close it out. I want to thank everyone for their time. Thank you for coming through. Shout out to all my members. K Plus, I'm so sorry I didn't shout you out as a member. I got so excited just getting into this whole new vibration for me because I really don't share about shows and stuff on here. So if you're new to my channel and you're looking for entertainment and you want to connect to me because of what you're seeing now, don't connect to me for that because that's not what I'm all about. I'm all about healing and wellness, wealth mindset, that kind of vibration, which I think we all need. So if you're looking for that, natural ways to heal, definitely connect to me for that. But once in a while, I might do something like this that I would call a special episode where I share on a show or just something that's in my vibration. So K Plus, this is for you. Thank you for being a member. All right, and shout out to all my other members. I appreciate your love and your support. Shout out to all my super chatters and the family that send me cash apps, PayPal, and all the other stuff. I really, really, really appreciate you. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. How can I forget? Oh my God, so much stuff happened in this episode. I almost forgot that Allison went to Rhaenyra. That that was huge. Rhaenyra pretty much said, "Listen, girl, it's too late." Because if you remember early in the season, Rhaenyra was the one going to Allison, like trying to like find a way towards peace, and Allison was like, I don't know about that, girlfriend. I love you, but peace ain't happening right now. We about to come for you. All right. But I love that now she came to her and she's like begging. It's like all of a sudden Allison's eyes, they're open and she's realizing, oh my God, this thing is about to happen. And it's for real gonna happen. Let me see if I can talk to Rhaenyra and like maybe, get her to change her mind. But I'm thinking to myself though, like, even if you get her to change your mind, you got a crazy power hungry son. Like, and you obviously can't talk to him. You can't control him. Look at the way he's been acting. He has no respect for you. He fired you. He kicked her off the team, the small table council. He said, Mommy, go do some domestic stuff. Goodbye. Peace. So, even if she got her to change her mind, how is she going to deal with this guy? But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Is she going to take her deal and say, all right, I'm just going to show up on this day and do whatever? She did give away some information in regards to their next move and stuff. So it tells me that she's sincere and she really just wants peace. And the fact that we saw her going out earlier this season, I think the episode before, she was like out in the woods, just kind of like connecting with nature, maybe finding her peace, because she'd been through some stuff. She was rejected by both her men that were on the council. So I'm pretty sure she was feeling really, really low. So she needed to kind of go regain herself and her composure and get herself together, her mind and her vibration right. So, that was good for her to do that. But at the same time, when she came to the other side, it was kind of too late. Like, what do you expect her to do? Like, just stop everything? The wheels are in motion now. The wheels are in motion. And to me, something that was like graphic in my mind is the fact that she said she has to behead her brother. Like, all this while, guys, don't forget, these people are family. These are siblings fighting like this to the death. Siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces. I mean, like, seriously, nephews. This is how they got down. So when she said that, I'm like, oh my God, do you really have to do that? But I'm guessing this is the laws of the olden ways so that there's no threat to the throne or whatever. But I'm like, in his condition, wouldn't he just step aside peacefully and be like, all right, whatever? Like, right now, I'm not so concerned about him, although he could be a little twat sometimes, when he was in his gloom, or not his gloom, but in his glory. So, saying that to say, I feel like the biggest threat right now is Aegon with that big dragon. However, they have more dragons, so they need to now just have their strategy on point. Maybe they won't even come to a war, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But remember, what's her name did tell him, you're going to die. I love that she told him, like, listen, doesn't matter what you do to me, your outcome is still the same. And I probably shouldn't be laughing at this, but listen, this is entertainment. It's a show. It's not for real. If it was real life, I wouldn't be laughing. But she just told him, like, I don't care what you do to me. I loved how she showed so much strength in that one scene. I'm like, my girl is coming into her essence. Yes. Remember, Aegon left the city. Oh yeah, and that's another thing too. Aegon left the city, so now that's also making me wonder. Okay, let's say Rhaenyra does come and like take over the city, per Allison's invitation or whatever you want to call that. Is he now going to, make an appearance after he's healed and say, "Hey, man, I'm ready to challenge you for my throne," or whatever? But keep in mind, he doesn't even have a dragon anymore. But that's not to say that he's not able to get a new dragon, though. So let's see what happens. I mean, Jesus Christ. Ooh, pardon me for saying that, but I just remember what he said about what happened to his manly parts. I'm like, oh my God. With all that I've seen him go through, I wasn't even thinking about that. So when he explained that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this man is in a world of pain. I can't even imagine. And I'm like, with all that though, shouldn't he be more focused on like, you know what? I just want to relax and be done with this whole ruling the kingdom stuff. I don't care about the power and all that. Just let me live all my days in peace. Like that's probably the vibration I would be on. But he let this guy get into his head about, okay, you can make your reappearance and this and that. Let them take each other out, and then you'll come back when. And I'm like, wow, is power really that alluring? Is it really that attractive that you're willing to be almost like this decrepit person, broken or whatever in the body, and still want that power? Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens next season. And I'm wondering, where is he going to go to keep him safe? He probably mentioned it, but I don't remember. Where is he taking him? And is anyone going to find them on the way, getting away or going where they're going? Because I mean, we'll see though. But I am looking forward to season 3, but not as much as I was looking forward to season 2, only because of the way they ended things. They didn't end it with such a big shebang to make you say, "Oh, I can't wait," which is not a bad thing. So it allows me to be a little more patient as I wait for season 3. All right, guys, that's going to be it for now. I went over 30 minutes. Oh, boy. So again, thank you everyone for coming through. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do to support my work here on this channel. Thank you for your love, your vibrations. Thank you for the super chats and the cash apps. Thank you to all my members. Love and appreciate you, my darlings. Until next time, take good care of yourself. I am prosperous. I am abundantly prosperous. And everything I do prospers me more and prospers those around me. I live in prosperity. I believe in prosperity for all. I will